Hi everybody, well today it's the time for the Hourglass holiday release. Yes, we are here, the time has arrived, the very first week of September, and they're here. They literally launched yesterday for early access. I've picked up 2 of these, and if you've heard of the Atlantic alliance that I now have with the wonderful Rebecca on Not Fit for Print Beauty, Rebecca is picking up the other 2. So I'm going to be showing you these 2, and Rebecca will be showing you the horse and fox. So I've got live swatches of both of these to show you, and I'm going to do a full face, eyes and cheeks of each one. So I'll do a face wash off to show you both of these. And I really cannot wait to get started. I do particularly love this pattern. It really is very Christmassy for me. In fact, I used to do a lot of watercolour painting when I actually had a bit more time on my hands, and I remember painting a picture just like this for Christmas. I love it. I absolutely adore that one. So that's my favourite cover-wise. Anyway, I shouldn't start waffling in the introduction, should I? That's not a good start. So anyway, if you're new here, hi, my name's Hannah, I'm 48, I'm not a professional, I'm just somebody who absolutely loves makeup and beauty, and here on my channel I show you the latest releases, my favourite looks, and give you any beauty news you might be interested in. If you think you'd enjoy that, please do subscribe to my channel. It's super helpful. I do upload here regularly every single week, a good few times a week actually. But if you're already subscribed, welcome back. I really appreciate every single one of you for being here, I truly do. And my skin tone, if we're looking at these shades today, unlike Rebecca, who has a slightly more medium, well, I'd say light to medium, I think Rebecca is, with warmer undertones, I've got fair to light with cool that lean a little bit neutral undertones, which is why we're a good alliance, because she's got a very different shade match to me, so things will look very different on Rebecca, so it's quite cool to swap around like that. But those are my skin tones. I've also got blue eyes. Anyway, that is enough about me. Let's dive straight into this review. So as I've said about Rebecca, I'll just pop up a picture of Rebecca's channel in case for some reason you're not following Rebecca, but please do, if you're not already, please do subscribe to Rebecca. Her review will be up as soon as the horse palette is available, because that one is launching exclusively on Sephora, I believe, on September the 6th, and I'm filming this one on September the 3rd, so it's another 3 days for the horse. So I think Rebecca's going to put the 2 together when she's got them both in her hands, rather than doing 2 separate videos. So you'll be able to see those 2 as soon as it's available. So please do go over to Rebecca's channel for that. Anyway, so for today, I will look at the 2 Rebecca's got and talk about if there's any new shades and things like that, but obviously I won't be putting them on my eyes. So I think that's the first thing to talk about really. I was looking through this last night on their website just to get some information about repeat shades. So the way that me and Rebecca have divided this up is there's going to be 4 of these palettes obviously, and starting with the very lightest, I've gone for the lightest. So that one is the Dior palette, and then the next lightest Rebecca's got, so that one is the fox. Is it the fox? No, sorry, it's the horse. So the second lightest is horse, and Rebecca's going to show you that one. And then the next one up is the Swan. So I've gone for the second lightest out of the 2 darkest ones, if you know what I mean. So this is like number 3 in depth. And then the deepest out of all of them is the Fox. So Rebecca's doing Fox. So let's look at Fox. I'll pop it up on the screen now. So you can see here, this is the one that has the most new shades. So this is going to be a really good one to watch on Rebecca's channel, because there's only one repeat shade here, which is Lucid Glow. And that Amethyst Haze blush looks absolutely beautiful there. So we have a finishing powder, we have a highlighter, and we have three blushes and 1 bronzer. I can't even read what I've got in front of me. So that one does look absolutely beautiful, and I can imagine those colours working very well on Rebecca actually. So excited to watch her review for that one. So that was the deepest of the 4. And the next one down is one of the ones I've got, which is Swan. So Swan, I'll pop the big picture up before we look at it. And this one has 4 new shades. So this has got quite a lot of new shades. The only repeats in this one is Dim Light Finishing Powder and Natural Bronze Bronzer. But we have a new highlighter, Golden Hour. We have a new blush, Luminous Coral. Another new blush, Sunset Flush. And another new blush, Mauve Fusion. So lots of nice new ones to try there. And then we'll look at Horse, which I'll pop up on the screen. This one actually has 6 shades that are not new. But I have looked into when these were actually launched, and you have to look into 3 different palettes, I believe, to find where these are. I think there's 2 of them in Elephant, 2 in the Leopard, and if you've got the 2021 Universe Unlocked, there's 2 in there. So in other words, you'd have to be a very big collector not to have the full horse palette, and you might just like them all put together here. So there's a very high chance you don't have all of these if you don't have all of those palettes, but if you do, you can dip into your collection and look through Elephant, Leopard and Universe Unlocked, and you will find all the shades from horse. And then if we look at the lightest of all of them, the Dior palette, which I'll be showing you today, this one has 3 new shades. So we have a Repeat Dream Light Finishing Powder, we have a Repeat Diffused Bronze Light Bronze, and we have a Repeat Iridescent Strobe Light Highlighter. But we have the new Aura Light Finishing Powder, which is marbly, which is quite different for finishing powders. And we have a new blush, Radiant Peach, and we have a new blush, Vibrant Pink. And you can pick up brushes with this collection. These are the 4 brushes. I have actually ordered one. I can't even remember which one I went for. And it's on its way but didn't come with these, so I can't actually show you these brushes. I've only got one anyway, but I like the fact that it's got quite a thick end and a small end, because last year's brush was this one and I thought it was absolutely useless. I really didn't like this brush. I just thought that it was too small. There wasn't an end on it that for me really served as a blush or bronzer brush, whereas the one that's coming, these ones that are coming with this collection look much, much better. The previous year, I think it was the previous year, or was it 2 years prior? Is this 3 years old? Anyway, this is Snake. I'm useless at remembering, but this is the Snake. I love this one, so I probably will use this one today. It is quite big, but you can actually go into all 4 and do everything with it, so all 6 rather. So I'll use that a little bit today anyway, but I can't use the new brush, so do look out for a shorts reel, because I'm sure I'll film shorts reel doing a full face of these palettes, and I'll definitely use that brush so you can see the brush. I might show you in another video as well. So anyway, I think the first thing to do now is to start looking at the 2 palettes. So today I think what I'll do is I'll start with the lightest and finish with the darkest. That will be my final look, and that's sort of taken me out of my comfort zone, so I thought that's why I challenged myself a bit, because the light one is the one that's much more perfect for me. So I just wanted to quickly show you, I don't have a massive Hourglass collection, but I did want to show you the 3 I've currently got in my collection that are quite light, and you can see if they compare. So last year we had the Dragon palette, which is actually my favourite palette out of all of the Hourglass palettes I've ever tried. So here is the Dragon, and if you look now at the Dior next to it, here they are side by side. So there is quite a difference between the 2 in the blush shades. The bronzer looks lighter, and again we have 2 finishing powders, but the finishing powder in the new one here has this new one that's marbled, and it's a bit deeper, a bit creamier as well. So there is a difference. The highlighter though looks like a lot less impact in this one. I think I'll actually show you a complete swatch comparison of them all. But before I do that, I'm going to play the swatch video of this palette, and this was probably the hardest thing I've ever swatched, and I was almost not going to put my swatch video out. I have put it out because I'm sure I'll get a lot of people commenting saying it's a rubbish video or I didn't swatch it properly. I'm sure I'll get grief on this video, because no matter how much I tried to get the colour to appear on my skin, it really just didn't. So anyway, take a look for yourself.
3, 2, 1, talk to me.
Okay.
Talk to me.
Okay.
These are the peachy blushes. So this one is Dragon and this one is the new Dior. So Dragon, Dior, very, very similar there. And now the pinky blush. So this one is the Dragon and this one is Dior. Dragon, Dior. Again, quite similar really, aren't they? But it's very hard to show you because they just really don't show up much. And then the two bronzers. This one is Dragon and this one is Dior. Dragon, Dior. The Dior is a bit lighter and there's a bit more pigment in the Dragon. And the highlighters, a huge difference. So this one is Dragon and this one is Dior. And what I did think when I swatched this, the Dior one, here's the Dragon. The Dior one just doesn't really look much like a highlighter to me. So I can hardly see it. I think we just have to see this on the face, but it just looked a little bit invisible, so there's no point in me trying to show you that because it's really difficult to show you, really difficult. I will have a better time show you some comparisons when we go to Swan because that's a bit deeper and it does show up. Now I won't swatch the finishing powders side by side, there's no point, but that does give you an idea of the quite similar colours we're getting. So we're still getting a corally peach, we're still getting a pink, we're still getting a light bronze, but the bronze is deeper in the dragon. And we're just getting a less impactful highlighter, but it's less gold, which might be good news for you if you're fair, because it was quite gold, the one in Dragon. So it might be a better, more subtle highlighter for fair skin that we're getting with Dior. And then we've got the new finishing powder. So we've got, I think, the same finishing powder pretty much. I'm not sure if it's identical. Let me just check on the back. It's Dreamlight that we got in Dragon. And this one is Dreamlight, yeah. It is exactly the same finishing powder in the two. But now we've got this new finishing powder to try today. So what I'll do today is I'll do a full face wash off and then move to the next one. So let's go straight into this. And I'll start, if I use this snake brush, I'll start with the bronzer. Now I actually bought this bronzer recently thinking this might be the best bronzer in the collection. It might be the only one that I can get away with because they're always too warm. And I still found it's a little bit warm. It's not as cool as I would like. And it's very difficult to get this one to show up. Now I do like a light bronze that's not too pigmented on my skin tone, but this one, I'm going in quite heavily here. Can you see it? Now this is my concern because when I swatched this palette, it looked almost like an invisible palette. Now I know I found the one in Dragon a bit too much, a bit too pigmented. I managed to use it, but I found it more of a summer option. So I don't know if I just keep applying this very lightly, this could be a better one for me in the winter. As I'm building it, I'm starting to see it, but I shouldn't have to build this much really. So I don't think it's the best for me in all honesty. I don't know. I don't think it's the best shade for me if you're cool toned. I think it's still a little bit too warm. They just don't have a bronzer in their whole collection that I know of that is for fair cool tones. But if you've got neutral or warm undertones, I think, and very fair skin, this will probably work quite well on you. Not so well on me. I'm going to actually use the BK Beauty 115 because it's a lot more dense. To see if I use a dense brush, can I get much more from it? Even with a dense brush, not really. It's almost like a nothing shade this. Just a very, very, very soft bronze glow. But it is perfecting my skin. I mean, we know these formulas from Hourglass are absolutely beautiful in terms of blurring, perfecting and giving you that gorgeous, gorgeous glow in a very natural way that's so complementary to mature skin. So maybe with this brush it's actually building up a bit more now. Yeah, so I would definitely go in with a more dense brush. That's probably going to be the way forward for me today with this whole set here to get these colours to show up. But I will show you with the fluffy brush as well. So now I'm going to use a blender brush because I'm going to do my eyes. So I'm going to use this for both eyes in the crease. I will use a different shade of blush on the mobile lid. See, that is showing up on the eyes. I can see that much more. It's quite a nice colour on the eyes actually. Maybe now when I look back at this and edit, I will see that the bronzer has appeared quite nicely because I'm really seeing it pop on the eyes. So maybe while I was complaining there, you're all thinking, I can see it and it looks quite nice. I don't know. Be interesting to see how this does look once I edit. So the thing I love most about these palettes is the pick up and go and travel and have a full look in one palette. And certainly the Dragon palette is my most used and my most travelled with. I really like it as a summer palette for that quick on the go sort of look. And you can also alternate your looks by switching out the colours you're putting on the eyes. with the blushes. So I'm going to now go, I think I'll start with the pink on this side. Let's see. So I'm using the super fluffy brush to get a very light amount. You can see it barely picks up anything, this brush. Very, very small amount. So let's go in with a more dense brush now. Even with the dense brush again. I'm being very generous. It is coming up. I mean, it's certainly one of these ones, if you're scared of blushes and you worry about over applying it and you've got very fair skin, you'll probably love it. But a lot of you are going to be quite unimpressed with the lack of pigment with this, because the Dragon one is very light, but it does give me more of a pop than this, that's for sure. But it is coming. This is really incredibly light. And from swatching, I can tell you already that the Swan is nowhere near as deep as I thought it would be. So I do wonder if they've missed the mark here for deeper skin tones, which is something that seems to happen too often, I'm afraid, as many of you probably know. So it does look really, really, really beautiful. It's very smoothing, but it's just about there with an absolute 10. I don't think I'd have the patience to use this, you know, because of the amount of times I'm having to go in. Anyway, let me take the pink on my eyes. Let's see if it can pop a bit more there. So if you've got much lighter skin to mine, my eye might give you an idea of how it might look on you. You can see the pink definitely better on my eye. But still, taking an absolute 10 on the brush. Takes a long time to see it. So that's me going in and out about 6-7 times. And that's the maximum I can get on the eye there. It's just a very soft, subtle pink. But these two colours are very summery for me. So again, this would be a quick, light summer look. It's not going to be autumn or winter for me, definitely. I wouldn't use it. I mean, you might, but I personally wouldn't. So I'll take another brush now and I'll use the highlighter. And if you remember, this highlighter is very, very... what's the word? It doesn't shine much, it doesn't show up much. It's not, I don't want to say anything rude, but anyway. I don't want to slate these. I know how popular they are, but I've got to be honest, I'm using this thinking I paid £90 for this. And I can't see it. I can sort of see it there in the inner corner, a little bit of light, but I wanted to bring it a bit onto the eye. Under the brow. I'm not in love with that at all, I'm really not. I'll take my fan brush, actually I'll get my smaller one, Sonia G, and I'll take the highlighter now on the top of the cheek. Oh, it does show up, the highlighter, just slightly, very, very slightly. So probably an improvement from the Dragon in that it's not really gold, because I didn't understand with Dragon why it was so suited to fair skin. But then the highlighter was gold, because that doesn't work so well. So this is a better highlighter. If I could take this highlighter out and put it in Dragon and probably skip all of the rest, I'd probably be quite happy. What else can I try from this side? I'll do this finishing powder, and we'll try this one with the coral on the other side. So we already know that this finishing powder is beautiful, and this is just a shade. You don't really see it, but it gives you a pop of light and it just finishes everything off perfectly. You can't really get a better finishing powder than Hourglass. But at the same time, I don't really have any harsh edges right now from my bronzer or from my blush, so it's not a desperate thing to do, but just sort of going over the whole look with it just gives it a nice polished finish. But honestly, I've just put a lot of makeup on my face. You would not know it, would you? Anyway. Let's try the coral. I don't think there's any point using this brush, but I wanted to sort of continue to show you. Oh, wait a minute, that pops a lot more. Okay, so the coral with this brush instantly shows up. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's made me happier. Oh, what am I doing? I'm putting it up here like it's a bronzer. What on earth am I doing? Please forgive me today. I am coming down with a bug, I think. I'm getting a temperature. My son's really poorly and I think he might have passed it on to me. And I don't really know what day it is, to be honest. So a dense brush. Oh, that's pretty. I really like that one. Let's take it into the eye. Much better. Well done, Hourglass. This one is much better. So let's now take the fluffy brush. This is my Victoria Beckham, by the way. And I'm going to take this slightly into the crease with that bronzer, but mostly over the mobile lid. Not a massive amount of pigment showing up on the eye there. It's definitely got a bit more of a pop though than this pink. And I'll take the highlighter again, put in a corner. So these are very, very, very subtle looks. I would give it more of a pop by finishing with a liner and mascara, which I won't be doing with this look. I'm going to do that with the last look when I go into Swan. And I'm not going under the eye and doing anything because my eyes are quite irritated with this bug I've got. So I will have to leave it there to give you, hopefully that's given you an idea. But I will now take the highlighter and put that across the cheek here. Very, very, very subtle, but it is there. I think if you like a subtle highlighter that's extremely mature skin friendly and definitely suitable for fair skin, this highlighter is really good. And if you like a soft coral blush, it's easy to apply, but you do get a pop without having to build it and build it and build it. This one's excellent. The pink one, I did have to work superbly hard to get that one to show up, as you saw. So let's now try the new finishing powder, which has a lot more pigment in it. I'm interested to see, yeah, that you can see almost like a peachy colour. So I'm not sure I want to have that all over the face there because I'd rather keep around my T-zone quite light. So I don't know if that's almost a bit dark as a finishing powder for me. I don't know about that one. I'll have to play around with it a bit more, but you can see when I put it here, this part of my face looks a bit peachy and I would rather keep it light. So I'd much rather use this one for my skin tone than this one if we're going to go all over the face as a complete finishing powder for everything. But if you didn't go here, which is what I will do in the future, I would avoid putting it there. I would just use it here to soften the edges of the blush. It works nicely there. And you can do it up here to blend in the bronzer. So just generally we have more pigment this side from the finishing powder and from the coral blush. But we really didn't get much at all from the bronzer. And the overall look is exceptionally light. And for me, I think even if you're looking for light, you might be disappointed with this because it's not quite as quick a look as I would hope because I've had to build and build and build. So definitely nowhere near as good for me as Dragon last year. Dragon was pretty perfect. I adore the cover, but I've got to say I'm really disappointed with this one. I'd love to hear your thoughts though. What do you think? Anyway, let's wash off and move on to Swan. So I've cleaned off and I'm ready to show you this Swan palette. But before I do, here's my swatch video.
3, 2, 1, talk to me.
Okay.
Talk to me.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, talk to me.
So this one was a lot easier to swatch. I'm going to do a couple of comparisons for you and we'll look and see if there's any similar shades in anything else. So this one has 4 new shades and the 2 that are repeats are these 2 here. So the bronzer and the finishing powder. But the highlighter and the 3 blushes are all brand new. I've got here the Evil Eye palette. So here's Evil Eye. This one's from last year. So I don't think we've really got much in the way of similarities at all there. So I won't swatch any between those because it does look like they are completely different shades. I've got Elephant here. So with the Elephant, we've got a very similar blush, I would say. Totally different bronzer, different highlighter, and different finishing powder. So lots of different things there, but the only one that looks a bit similar may be this blush here, Coral from Swan, and this one is the Coral from Elephant. So we have Elephant, Swan. So they're quite similar. So this might be a new shade, but it's not massively different. Pretty similar really, isn't it? And then one of the shades that I don't think looks anything like the one on the website was this new blush here. It just looked much more of a sort of rich plummy colour, I thought, on the website. I don't think, looking at what I've got here, I've got one that matches it. The only one that might be in the similar sort of family would be from the Lotus palette from last year, which was actually the deepest one. This shade here, I could compare it to that one. So that one was called just Blush Red Zero. So that's a red. And I'm going to compare that now to the Swan new shade, which is called Blush Mauve Poison. Oh, I thought I said Poison. Fusion. I'm delirious today, I really am. My temperature's going up, I don't know what day it is. So this one is the one from the Lotus, and this is the new Mauve. So they are very different, but this is the only one in a similar sort of family. So there's the Lotus, and there's the Swan. So it's actually got more pigment than the one from the Lotus. And the Lotus is the deepest out of all of them from last year, and the Swan is the third deepest from this collection. So I think that's probably about it really in comparisons. Like I said, I don't have a massive collection. If you do have any requests, I have here Elephant, Evil Eye, Tiger, and Lotus, and oh gosh, everything's crashing down, and Snake. So if you want me to compare anything from those, let me know and I'll do that for you. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of people doing reviews who have got all of them and they can give you better swatches than I can, because I don't have a massive collection. And now that me and Rebecca are forming this alliance, we will be sharing palettes. So Rebecca might be able to show you some swatches from her collection that she's got. So we did say that we would do these live videos and meet up with all of you hopefully, and we can do swatch requests there as well. So I could be holding up the Swan palette, for instance, and you might be saying, oh, I want to know if a certain palette is a match for this, and Rebecca might have it, so we can both show you together on screen. So that would be quite fun. Definitely something we'll plan, and that's exactly what it'll be for. Things we've both looked at during the month so we can compare them, and Rebecca might have things from her collection that she's bought in previous years that I haven't, and vice versa. So hopefully that will be more helpful to you. But let's just start with a look with this. So obviously this is way too deep for me, but having seen how light the first one was, I'm thinking that the second one would have been my better option. So Rebecca is going to be trying that one. So that one is the Horse. Horse is probably my best one shade wise because of how incredibly light the Dior one was, but then Horse looks too deep for me, so I feel like I don't know if my skin tone is truly catered to in this collection, to be honest with you. But going by how light that was, will this actually cater to medium to deep, so which is what this one should be doing. So let's have a look. This should be way too much on me, this bronzer, so using this brush might be my best bet. I mean, I can see it straight away, so I need to be quite careful, but it's not overwhelming. I am just tapping because I'm quite conscious of the fact I could look ridiculous. No, it's not. It's probably the best brush for me to use with this. It's going to be quite strange, you know, if this ends up being the best option for me, because this actually doesn't look too warm either, this bronzer. How bizarre. This bronzer looks better on me, I think, than the one in Dior. In fact, I quite like that. It is still a bit warm. I don't think Hourglass do cool tone blushes, bronzers. But I'll take the more dense brush so you can see how it looks if I do that. It'll probably be too much on me. I'll take it here where I don't have as much. Actually, no. Even applied with a dense brush, it's still not too much. So is this going to work on medium to deep? I don't know. I'm doing one side and I don't need to because I'm doing a full face with a bronzer, so continue on, Hannah. Honestly, I should not be working today. I think I'm just going to talk absolute gibberish. So this would not be my chosen brush for a bronzer, but I'm trying to get the pigment I need. I did not expect to be saying that with the third deepest from this collection, but I am. I'm having to dip in quite a bit now to get what I need. So again, not the perfect shade for me, but it could be worse. Quite a nice maybe summer bronze for me. So being fairly generous with that now, and I'll use the same blender brush from Victoria Beckham to use it as the crease shade in both eyes. I'll be doing exactly the same thing, except this time I'm going to finish the look with liner and mascara so you can see the completed look. And this looks, I mean, you can see the amount of pigment I'm getting on the eyes. It's really not that different to the bronzer in the Dior, but anyway. It's utterly bizarre. I'm finding that quite shocking because last year the third strongest one was, which one was it? Evil Eye, I think, and that one was too deep on me. I remember because I reviewed all 4 last year, and that was really quite deep on me from what I remember, because I've never really gone back and used it because it was too deep. Maybe this is going to be my favourite one. So I'll take this under the eye. Now we have 3 blushes, so what I'll have to do, I think I will just do this one on one side, and I will do these two like a sort of sunset duo. So I'll start with the coral with this brush on this side, and immediately getting quite a reasonable pop with that with the fluffy brush. So that one is definitely showing up straight away there. Very, very warm for me. I mean, I know it's a coral, but I don't think this is my sort of shade. But anyway, let's take the pink now on the sort of upper part of the cheek. Quite a pop of pink then. Again, this is fair skin. Will you be getting the same pop if you've got light to medium, medium to deep? I don't know. But this is very light, fluffy brush, picking up a tiny bit. So if you went in with a dense brush, I think you would get a lot more of a pop. It's very shiny actually, isn't it? It looks like I've just put a highlighter on. That really does have a glow. Very nice summer duo though. I do think this is a nice summer look. Again, I feel this is a summer palette because it's corals and pinks, just like we had in the Dior, and as we're moving into autumn winter, this is not something I would want to reach for. This is something I would only want to reach for in the summer. But this shade is different, so let's try this shade now. Now this is the shade that could be quite scary on me, so definitely going with this brush. But no, it's not scary on me. I can afford to take another tap. I really thought I was going to be in a lot more trouble with these colours than I am, which is good for me, but maybe not good for you if you're watching this with deeper skin tones thinking this is going to pack a real punch. But I am, as I said, with this side, using this fluffy brush, and a dense brush would definitely bring that. I mean, I will show you, but I might have to put an awful lot of finishing powder on. If I put it on a dense brush, you can see there how much it's got. Actually, no, it's not crazy pigment, is it? Even with a dense brush. Let's start taking it into the eye a bit. It's quite a nice shade though, isn't it? I mean, that is too much on me. I mean, looking in my monitor, I think both sides are too much for me, so they need to be calmed down, but that's where the finishing powder comes in. They should be too much on me, so it's good news really. Let's try them on the eyes. So I'll try the combination like I've done on my cheek of the pink. So I'll start with the pink in the sort of outer V. Well, I like that on the eye, you know. Well, that's nice. And hopefully again this will give you a slightly better idea of how this might look applied more heavily, because it pops a bit more on my eye. Yeah, you can really see that building that up. That's the sort of shade you'd be getting if you just use this on its own on the cheek without doing the two together. Sorry about the noise in the background. I've got this robot hoover and we've had the worst weather today. We've got weather warnings in place for flooding and for thunderstorms, and it's just been tipping down, and my sons have been in and out this morning. We've got water all over the house that they're dragging in. I'm taking the coral on the lid now. So I've had to run the robot mop hoover thingy. So if you thought somebody was outside talking to me, it was my robot mop hoover thing. Still talking now. Can you hear her? She's emptying dustbin, is what she's saying now. She will finish now. That'll be the end of the hoover noise. There we go. These are beautiful together. I do actually really like these on eyes and cheeks. There's a summer vibe. Really nice. But again, not massively pigmented. Let's try this one now. I'm not really cleaning the brush off in between because I'm not really worried about having any excess on the brush, to be honest with you. You can get anything then. Strange how much I've got to go in to get these to show up. Anyway, it's showing up now. Well, that's pretty. So that's blending in with that bronzer now. But I don't think this is the sort of deep plummy mauve that it looked like on the website. So I don't know whether that's a good thing for you or a bad thing. It definitely doesn't seem quite as deep as it looked for me anyway on the website. Well, that is a very pretty shade, isn't it? They both are. I really like them. I like them more on the eyes than the cheeks, but if I was going to have a more cohesive look, I think that would be as in this and this over the whole of the face. I think that would be really pretty with the matching lipstick. So now what I'll do is I'll put the highlighter, I'll do it on my cheeks first. Now I'm not expecting this highlighter to work on me, it's way too gold. It shouldn't really work on me, so for me this would be more a highlighter just to use on eyes. But anyway, I'll show you how it looks. You can really see the gold there. And that's just not quite right for fair skin. If you're medium to deep, I think that's a gorgeous highlighter for you. Gorgeous. Really nice. So just doing the same on this side. I think the highlighter looks a lot better with the coral and the pink. I'm not sure it goes quite as nicely with the mauve. Gosh, it is way too much for me, it really is. I wonder if I can use this finishing powder. What is it? It's Dim Light. Oh, there we are. It's a fairly standard one, so I should get away with that one. I think I'll take my Sonia G Buffer Pro to do this because I do need quite a lot of pro buffing here. So I'll go into Dim Light and I'll start going around the edges to soften everything up, which is what I use it for. You can use it just to brighten as well if you want to do that, but for me it's a finishing powder for softening edges. Look how it's done that. It's so good. It really is. Look how it's softened all of that and made it much more wearable for me. Let's see if it can do the same on this side, which looks a lot more bold and way too much on me, especially that highlighter. Wow. Come on, Dim Light, do your magic. Right here especially. Yeah, it's taking it down a notch, but definitely for my skin tone, that gold is not complimentary on texture, whereas the one in Dior was perfect. This is where we need to be able to create our own palettes, and we weren't allowed to do that in the UK. So come on, Hourglass. We need to be able to create our own so we can pick and choose. And I certainly for the autumn winter period wouldn't be choosing colours like coral and light pink, even though I like them. I want to move into autumn shades. Anyway, that's definitely a lot better using Dim Light to fuse everything together and give it that lovely polished finish. So now I'm going to take the highlighter to finish off the eye look. I'm going to pop it in the inner corner there, lovely pop there. I'm going to just slightly bring it up. It's a bit too bright for me to go under the eye with this one. Too golden to go under the eye for me. If you've got a deeper skin tone, it would work well underneath the brow possibly. So this is a very rough put together look, and this is how I like to use it. It's not ever going to be a perfect polished look. It's always going to be a quick look, because that's how I use Hourglass palettes, for that quick, easy, cohesive iron cheek look, and that's genuinely how I use them. I really dip into them just for the odd thing, really. I'm going to take some of Dim Light on my fluffy brush just to go around the edges of the eye as well, because that's another thing you can use it for. You see how it just softens the edge where that shade was a little deep on me? Gives you a nice polished finish, and I'll do the same on this side. And that's it really. We've tried everything out in this palette. So if I go off camera now, I will do some eyeliner and mascara and back to see my final look. So there's my final look with a bit of taupe eyeliner and my mascara added. I do really like both of these eye looks. I think that's the thing that's standing out the most for me, is I really do love the eye looks. So I think if I didn't have the gold highlighter here and I had a more standard highlighter, I think this would look like a really good look actually. So the two blushes together, the pink at the top, you can just slightly see there, that sort of sunset blush. I mean, the gold does make it like a sunset blush effect, so it sort of works a bit better there, but personally for me I would go with the more suitable highlighter shade. But on the eyes to cheeks, I really like that whole combination, so just switching out the highlighter, and I think that would be perfect. So if you've got my skin tone, and you think that this is much too deep for you, I think apart from the highlighter you can pretty much get away with this palette, and you can certainly use these colours together. And the same goes for this side. Again, I don't think that gold highlighter worked particularly well with the mauve blush anyway, but I also think, again, it just doesn't work for me. Well, I know it doesn't, because I need that lighter highlighter. But I really do like the eye look, so easy to do, and that's what I said I absolutely love with Hourglass. I love to be able to do that. So, and maybe when I said it's very summery, if you skip the gold highlighter, this mauve is not quite so summery, so you have maybe more of a winter look, summer look. So maybe this palette is actually the most flexible, and for me I think it stands out as the best one for me, because it's got new shades, new looks. This look isn't particularly new, this is a very Hourglass look, the coral and the pink, but this is a new look. So apart from the highlighter, even the bronzer worked quite well for me. I think this is actually surprisingly the third deepest on my fair skin. Is actually my best one, because horse might be very good on me as well, I'm not sure. It probably would be. I don't think the bronzer looked like it would be for me, but you'll definitely be able to see on Rebecca. It'd be interesting to see with Rebecca if she finds the horse too light, because if she does, she shouldn't, because it's the second darkest, but I found Dior way too light. So is she going to find horse too light, in which case she would probably love Swan, in which case we could have swapped there, couldn't we? But anyway, I don't want to swap Swan, so I'm not swapping this one with Rebecca, unfortunately, for Rebecca. If she wants it, I might end up wanting to get horse and she might end up wanting to get Swan. But anyway, the whole purpose of us having this alliance is to cut our costs down and not to overspend unnecessarily, so I won't be getting extras. This is what I'll be sticking to. But the Dior one, as we've said, this was the biggest disappointment. They're just so light. It was just like putting nothing on my face. I just would not recommend this. I would not. Unless you've got exceptionally light skin, I think this one is pretty useless. And feel free to tell me off. Feel free to tell me it's beautiful and I'm wrong. But this is my personal view. Everyone's got their own opinion, and I'm absolutely interested in hearing all of your thoughts, and everything you have to say is totally valid. This is just my personal view. I don't see me ever reaching for this one. Whereas the dragon one from last year, which was, it looked online quite similar in depth, is so much better. I love the dragon one. It's my favourite one. And I'd actually go as far as saying this might be my least favourite out of all of the ones I've ever tried from them, because I just cannot imagine wanting to go back to it. But Swan, absolutely beautiful. I do love all of the cases with this collection. The Dior was my favourite cover. Swan is very beautiful too. And I think this is gorgeous. I really do. So if I could just get an instrument to knock out that highlighter and put the highlighter from the Dior into this, I think I would be using this one all the time. So that's a slight shame, because if it was on the go, it'd be annoying having to take another highlighter, because this gold is way too much for me. But anyway, I do worry though, if you're buying this and you have that sort of medium to deep skin tone, are you going to get enough from this? I mean, I could have built this up more, so you might. So it'll be very interesting to hear back from everyone, and it'll also be very interesting to see how Rebecca gets on when she uses Fox, which is that deepest out of the four. How deep will it be? Is it going to be blindingly deep on Rebecca with her more deeper skin tones and her light to medium shade? Or is it going to be like this and work perfectly, which it really shouldn't. It should be too deep on Rebecca, but I don't know. So I do wonder if anyone from medium up is going to be over the moon with this release or not. I don't know, but I really look forward to finding out. And I hope this has been a little bit helpful to you in making any decisions today. And I hope everyone is okay with my alliance with Rebecca and the way we're working things. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Rebecca's video. As soon as Horse is available, she will be doing that for you. And then we can meet up soon during the month, I would imagine, and have that live video, and we can all chat about our experiences, what you've bought yourselves, what we've thought of the ones we've got, and we can do swatch comparisons as requested. So do keep that in mind, because we're really excited about trying that out. But anyway, that's about it from me for today. If you have any swatch requests from today that you want us to note down, please do contact either me or Rebecca. You'll find me on Instagram at han.beauty101. I always reply to messages on there, so if you want to message me, please do, or just drop a comment below on this video and I'll make a note of it there as well. But anyway, I've really enjoyed doing this, and if you've enjoyed it, please do hit the like button, and if you're not subscribed, I would be ever so delighted if you did subscribe. But if you already are, you're at the end of another review, and I absolutely appreciate every single one of you, and I really do hope to see you all again for my next video. Take care everybody, bye.